Hey, my name is Jesse Feagin from Long Beach, California. Prior collegiate athlete at Washington State University. Currently, I am a business owner the past 6 years locally in Southern California. And I'm making this Can I Be Vulnerable video because I feel like it's important for black men to share their story and to be open.
There's a couple doing karaoke, and they're
Live
really happy,
karaoke.
right? Live karaoke right now at the park, and they're really happy doing it. So when you hear some voices singing, that's them.
All praise to my mom. She did everything in her power to get me to where I was at. But she hurt so bad that poured into me.
Right. Question: was Pop still around, even though he went his separate ways? Or?
Well, yeah, physically he lived 4 miles away.
Okay, so he wasn't.
But he wasn't around. I mean, we're talking about restraining orders and.
Shit. It was that deep.
It was deep, bro.
Yeah.
It was deep, where like police were being called to the school if my dad even showed up.
Shit.
It was deep to where at one point in time my father couldn't even come to my basketball or football games unless he sat literally
side or something
on the opposing side. Sometimes outside the gate because.
But he would show up for that.
He would. Sometimes I wouldn't even know. I didn't know a lot of the times that he would show up because, of course, like if my mom is here, I see her.
Right.
Then I'd be like, oh, my dad.
He got to stay in the back.
Yeah, but there was really limited conversation between my dad and I, communication between us. And again, it was all, how my mom put that together.
Right.
And, she had her reasons. Some of them I didn't agree with. Some of them I didn't see myself. But as time went on, her belief of my father became my belief. Because, and it's crazy in how I feel about parenthood, even though I'm not a parent. I feel like parents will inflict the children
Project.
and put their views into action and construe the situation to benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course your dad's not coming to your game. He never shows up. Stuff like that.
Oh shit. I'm sorry. No, you good.
Just little tit for tat things there that went on and on and on and on. A lot of the things that I started to look at as an adult, and I said, okay, because now I'm looking through my own lens,
right,
from my own perspective, and I'm seeing truth on both sides. I'm seeing flaws on both sides, and that came about when I started, interacting with my father again. Once I, graduated from high school, once I started distancing away from home, and I started seeing, ways that my mom acted. My interaction with my mom as I became an adult were different than when I was younger. So I started to put pieces together. I started to ask more questions, which is one thing that I didn't do a lot.
Yeah. Well, why would you, right? As a kid, you don't know.
Well, you really can't. I started to internalize a lot. And when you and I were talking about relationships, I see that in relationships. And that goes to the passive aggression. You get into a habit of, we've been knowing each other for X amount of time, and
just let it roll off.
You just let it roll. Like, you're supposed to know me. You're supposed to pick up on things. You're supposed to know when I'm in a bad mood. And that it just gets so toxic. But again, I contribute a lot of that to childhood. The way that I did communicate was through sports. So from playing basketball to 7, starting playing football at the age of 14 into college, that was my form of communication. If I was upset, I took it out at practice. I took it out on the field. I took it out on the court. But now, you remove sports, I'm taking it out on whatever.
Right.
Relationship, friendship, self.
Right.
Because, and competitive sports is different than, recreational sports.
Sure.
It's just a different vibe. It's a different environment.
It's a different everything.
So that was my voice.
Stakes are higher.
That was my voice.
The competitive nature was higher because you were people with similar skill sets.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like you can go to the league and dominate some shit.
Right. And that was my voice. And I that's when I really was like, okay, I need to figure some things out.
Right.
Because about 3 years after playing, or the three recent years after playing football, which was 2010 to 2013, is when I was really in a dark state. I actually picked up boxing.
You sure did.
And I mean, that was another way that I was able to seriously express myself. But again, it wasn't how I needed to express myself on every day.
So it was a physical manifestation, but you still, after the physical, have to deal with the mental aspect of it.
Well, somewhat. I mean,
an emotional aspect. I know that was for me when I got done playing.
Sports was like a drug.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You the drug, the alcohol, and then I'm okay for now until you have to deal with it again. Yeah. But again, you're playing and practicing, so repetitively.
You continuously
it's continuous until you have to sit there in a week, and you're not playing anything, and you're not going to the gym, and you're like, okay, how do I deal with this?
Mm-hmm. That was me.
And that was when I really started to realize, like, okay. So I started reading more and doing different things and trying, but it's, again, without that coach, without that mentorship, and this is how you express yourself, and then you're trying to reintegrate back into society, the normal life, and you're like, okay, I didn't even learn this. I've always been an athlete. So
everything has been structured for us.
I'm trying to learn how to reintegrate in society. I'm trying to learn how to communicate. I'm trying to learn how to get a job. And it was just like, where do I go? Before, things were laid out for me, and now it's just like, thank you, you're on your own.
Right.
On top of that, I'm dealing with things that I didn't even realize I was dealing with, that I had been carrying for years with my family. Yeah. And I'm still seeing the same thing. I mean, even now, man, I had a birthday dinner recently, and my mom sat on one side of the table, my dad sat on the other, and I felt the energy. It's horrible.
They didn't speak?
No, of course not. My dad is cool. My dad, he's just, cool. My mom, he walks in the room, her face changes. You feel the energy. It's still, it's not as strong as it used to be, but you still feel it.
Right.
And not me now, even, at 32, I'm still looking, I'm just like, wow. Now my nieces and nephews, the grandkids are experiencing this.
Right.
They're in that same position where I was at, where they don't understand what's really going on. They see grandpa, they see grandma, they're happy.
Right. Let me ask, have you thought about how you can help bridge that, or help break that generational, I guess I could say, toxicity within your parents? Not to say to get them together to
it's funny that you say that.
To heal, but
here's the funny part about that. I've always felt like I was a centerpiece of my family.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I was young, I felt like I was the person that essentially brought people together, whether it was sports, school activities, whatever the case is.
They came together.
That's where mom was at, dad was at, sisters came back, nieces and nephews as they were being born. Even now, I still feel like it's going to be me. Not like what you said, to bring the family back to even the understanding and recognizing your own flaws.
And that's really just it.
It's really going to take me to have that conversation, which I've had a conversation with my dad, and we've aired things out, but I still hold on to it because I'm still learning and things are being...
You're still unlearning too.
Right.
You're unlearning.
Unlearning traits, but I'm still learning things that went on. And it's just like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right.
That changes the whole element. I can't be the best me if I'm allowing you to interfere with that. And that's huge, man, because parents, sisters, siblings, brothers, cousins, relationship, you don't accept abuse. And when you do, you validate that, and then you validate it to be an ongoing thing.
Right.
And it's terrible, man, because this life is short, man, and it's like, why would you live in a house and you just never empty the trash?